Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang giving credit to the EV maker Tesla. The CEO telling Yahoo Finance Tesla is best positioned in self-driving technology. Take a listen.
Tesla is far ahead in self-driving cars, but every single car someday will have to have autonomous capability. It's safer, it's more convenient, it's more fun to drive, and in order to do that, it is now very well known, very well understood that learning from video directly is the most effective way to train these models. We used to train based on images that are labeled. We would say, this is a car, this is a car, this is a sign, this is a road, and we would label that manually. It's incredible. And now we just put video right into the car and let the car figure it out by itself.
And for more, let's bring in Autoblog Editor-in-Chief Greg Migliore for his reaction. Greg, great to see you. So, I mean, Nvidia is perhaps one of the biggest bellwethers for the market right now, but Jensen also having some high praise for Tesla there.
Hey guys, good morning. Yeah, he is clearly bullish on Tesla's approach to self-driving cars and just their entire business model, which, many people, including many investors, are. I would raise a little bit more skepticism. I think while many cars will have self-driving capability at some point in the future, I think what we've seen is consumers have been slow to adapt to it, even slower than perhaps embracing EVs and hybrids. I think there's some pretty, significant skepticism in the market for autonomous vehicles. I think there's going to be a significant learning curve.
And Greg, talk to us a little bit more about that, just in terms of when we talk about AI in the auto industry, what is a more realistic viewpoint then, I guess, from your perspective? And then ultimately, as we take a longer term approach, what you think that growth and demand is going to look like for some of these chips that obviously are necessary in order to, are critical for these automakers' AI goals?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I look at it more of like a 5 to 10 year sort of time frame where we'll see these chips and then the technologies that they can power phased into different vehicles. And I think you'll see existing autonomous driving systems like Tesla's full self-driving, as well as other programs like General Motors has a feature called Super Cruise. I think you'll see those systems get increasingly more powerful. And then you'll see some of the features that are a little more basic, things like lane keeping assist, blind spot monitoring, automatic braking, those features that are a little more like tertiary, but still important, get more powerful and more helpful to the consumer. And I think it'll be a longer runway. I think listening to the comments there, that's a very bullish view. And I don't necessarily think that's going to happen in the near term.
Tesla has perhaps been cementing itself as one of the de facto full self-driving or autopilot, full autopilot plays right now. But the stock has had a rough time this year, to say the least. So how quickly does all of this need to materialize for Tesla, for Elon Musk to be able to reap some of those longer term benefits that they continue to sell to investors out there?
Yeah, I think this needs to come to fruition, at least details of the plan. And he's going to reveal some of that as soon as August, apparently. So I think if he can articulate his vision for this in a more concrete way, by the end of the year, I think investors and consumers will be reasonably patient with him. I think the reason he took so much criticism earlier in the year is there is skepticism around self-driving cars. I've driven many of them, and they are great. I think they just have very specific use cases. And I think Elon is trying to bring this to the masses, which is a much tougher case to make.
Great, let's take a step back and just look at Tesla overall right now. We got the European sales numbers out earlier this week showing a decline in demand, and this comes on the heels of the recent data that we got out from China. Just give me just your sense of what that demand picture looks like and whether or not Tesla is really out of the woods yet when it comes to some of those challenges that they have been up against now for quite some time.
Yeah, so I think Tesla is I think they're at a pivotal moment this year. I think they really need to, again, articulate what they're doing with autonomous vehicles because they've made that a pillar. I think consumers in the market were more willing to accept just details on the Model 2 or a lower cost model, which is, in my mind, kind of a safer play it's like just a lower cost car, something perhaps below $30,000, $25,000 that people are familiar with. That's what people were expecting. So, I mean, naturally, Elon Musk does something totally different. Let's make the cars drive themselves, right? So I think he needs to kind of bring together all these parts of his plan in the next probably 6 to 8 months and, sort of explain himself. I think right now he has sort of thrown out some crumbs. He revealed earlier this week that they're doing more advancing the semi program, which is significant. He mentioned earlier this year about the Tesla Roadster. It's going to be even quicker than he mentioned. The 0 to 60 time is just a crazy figure. So he's sort of giving us little nuggets, little breadcrumbs. But I think in the next year, he needs to really bring it all together because the results, the sales figures, they've been pretty uneven.
Yes, nuggets, breadcrumbs, and cloaks over top of yet to be announced vehicles. Greg Migliore, we've got a lot for Tesla to ultimately deliver here going forward. Appreciate you hopping on with us, Greg.
Thank you.